Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Down Payment Resource Growing Your First Time Homebuyer Business webinar. I am Tracy Schell. I'm Vice President of Marketing and Communications with Down Payment Resource. And today we are going to review ways that you can start more conversations with first-time homebuyers using down payment assistance programs, plus how you can be a hero and show buyers there's help available to overcome that down payment hurdle. We're also going to show you how real agents are using Down Payment Resources tool. It's a tool we call Down Payment Connect. So how agents are using that to match clients to down payment assistance opportunities and also generate leads for their business. But first, I'm going to share with you just a little bit of background about who we are at Down Payment Resource. We were actually launched in 2008 to solve a problem that drove a lot of people in the real estate and mortgage lending industry crazy. There was really no easy way to find and track all the vast number of down payment assistance programs out there. So here at DPR, we developed an easier way to connect eligible borrowers with hard to find resources that include down payment assistance, programs, grants, mortgage credit certificates, and other types of assistance to buy a home. So we're sort of like Match.com for down payment assistance. So now that you know a little bit more about who we are at Down Payment Resource, I'm going to do a few just really quick polls so I can learn a little bit more about who we have on here today. So I'm going to launch this and ask you guys to answer quickly. So first of all, I want to know what percentage of your business is made up of first-time home buyers currently. So is it less than 5%, 5 to 25%, 26 to 50, 50 to 75%, or is it more than 75% of your business first-time home buyers? We have about half of you who've answered. So just hop on over there and make your best guess. All right, thanks guys. I'm going to share these results with you. All right, wow, we have a pretty even spread. Okay, so some of you are really doing a lot of business in this area. The great thing about what we're going to share today is whether or not you are currently active in this market or you're just really looking to have this as a place to expand your business. I think we've got some valuable information for all of you. And then I'm going to ask you one more question. The next question is, how often do you work with buyers using down payment assistance? And just let us know, have you ever worked with a buyer using down payment assistance? If you haven't, select never, rarely, sometimes, or if this is a frequent thing for you. All right. All right, we got about 75% of you answering. I'm going to close this poll and share those results with you. All right, so some of you are not working with buyers. So the majority of you aren't working with buyers who are using down payment assistance. All right. All right, thanks so much for sharing that information. All right, well, let's hop into our webinar. First, I just want to share a little bit more about what types of programs we track here at Down Payment Resource. So as you can see, we've got the majority of them are some type of down payment assistance or closing cost programs. If you're familiar with these types of programs, you know there's a lot of different structures that can take. We also have about 9% are a mortgage credit certificate, and that's a tax credit that is good for the life of the loan. We also track affordable first mortgage loans. And then about 12% of the programs are additional types of programs that might include employer-assisted housing programs and other types of matching assistance programs. And we actually track all of this in a quarterly report called the Homeownership Program Index that has a lot more data and information on those programs. We actually have another one of those coming out this month, and we will get that over to you. But what's really important to note is that these programs are available in every market. Here on this slide, you're seeing the states with the greatest number of programs that are available. But in every state and really in every market, you find some type of down payment assistance program. We track over 2,500 of them across the country. And 86% of these programs have funds available for buyers today. We also track and update these programs monthly. In fact, last year we made over 90,000 changes, and that would include changes that are program guidelines, qualifying criteria about the programs, website links, agency contacts, income limits, price limits, down payment assistance, benefit amounts, and all sorts of data that we track each month. It's truly an ever-changing database of down payment assistance and other programs. And our handle on this data means you can trust it's up to date and you can focus on your business. So one common myth about these programs is they're really only for a small niche of buyers, but others say it's a growing market segment. So let's take a look at some of the data on that or information. So first of all, the group of buyers who may qualify for down payment assistance is actually quite broad. So you definitely have your first-time home buyers. We know millennials are aging into homeownership, and actually new data shows that Gen Z, this next generation, has even stronger demand for homeownership. And then you also are looking at any kind of life event, newlyweds, first-time parents. As agents, you all know that those life event stages are another trigger for considering where you're going to live next. And for a lot of people, that means considering buying a home. And also when you look at the area median incomes that qualify for these programs, there's actually quite a range. I mean, you can see 60%, 80%. In a lot of markets, they may go up to 120% of area median income. So it's all relational dependent on the market that you're in. You can also see interest from boomerang buyers. These may have been buyers who have some type of history of foreclosure or short sale. They've rebuilt their credit. They may have worked with a housing counseling agency, and they're ready to buy a home again or consider that again. And remember, HUD's definition of a first-time home buyer is someone who hasn't owned a home in the past 3 years. So you might have someone who previously owned a home, maybe they rented for the past 3 years. Well, they're actually first-time home buyers again, or they would be considered first-time home buyers again. Then we can also look at emerging markets, especially with Hispanic and Asian population growth and a lot of data, and those specific reports is really indicating a strong demand for homeownership and even some of our highest growth markets for homeownership. But at the same time, we're all familiar with the mindset of first-time home buyers. They want to start renting, but they don't know what they can afford, and they often don't know about down payment help. So let's look into the size of the market for this business. So I want to go over a little bit of a report that was released in September 2018. Actually, it was Down Payment Resource along with Freddie Mac that commissioned this second study on barriers to accessing homeownership. And the study was done by the Urban Institute's Housing Finance Policy Center. And the report looks at those key factors that would include down payment, credit, and affordability. The report sizes the mortgage-ready millennial population, and it also shows how down payment assistance could offer much-needed help in this environment. And we did provide data to the Urban Institute for this report. So part of the report actually looked at some buyer perceptions, and here are just a few that I wanted to highlight for you. No surprise that down payment is the primary barrier. 68% said it was. And you can also see many still hold on to that 20% down payment rule, which we know is really not the case. I think the average for first-time homebuyers, the latest data on that, is around 7%. And also only 23% of buyers were even familiar with down payment, with some type of low down payment program. So let's look at the homeownership potential. The data from this Urban Institute report actually shows that millions of under 40 buyers are actually mortgage ready. So 21 million approximately are mortgage ready, and that means they don't have a mortgage, but they do have the credit characteristics to qualify for a mortgage. And the report looked at 31 of the largest markets in the U.S. To pull this data together. So this is really just looking at those 31 largest markets, MSAs. In addition, most, you can see 88% of those who are mortgage ready actually earn enough to afford a typical house in the city where they currently are. But the big question is, do they know? Another layer of this report was that Urban bounced HMDA loan data, so this is 2017 actual real loan data, against our program database to see how many buyers could have benefited from one or more of these programs if they were made aware of them. And as you can see, it could have made a really big impact. 36% of those 2017 loans were eligible for some type of down payment assistance in these metros. And on average, they found 6 programs, and the average amount of assistance was over $9,000. I mean, that's a huge difference. That's a down payment right there. All right, so let's get, now that you have some of the data and background, we're going to really get into the tools that are available to you to help you raise awareness and get more buyers off the sidelines. Many of you probably found out about this webinar through your MLS. So if your MLS provides down payment resource, if we work with them and if they're listed on this screen right here, we identify eligible listings in your MLS and then we match them to all the available home buyer assistance programs. And also, if your MLS is listed here, it means you also have free access to Down Payment Connect, and that's your own lead generation landing page. And that's really what we're going to focus on today. We're going to get into how that link works and how agents across the country are using it in their marketing. And also for any members of the California Association of Realtors that are joining us today, I wanted to share how you can access additional details. So CAR members, if you go to downpayment.car.org, you're going to find additional marketing help and search tools. And then you can also direct your clients to finddownpayment.car.org so they can search for programs that would be a match for their own personal situation. All right, so let's look at how we find down payment resource in your MLS. I know MLSs are on different platforms. This is a matrix example, but essentially if you look in an external link section or you see what's circled in red here, that's basically what it's going to look like. You're going to want to look for down payment resource inside when you're logged in inside your MLS. So when you click that, you're going to go to this DPR homepage. So on this homepage, this link that's circled here, that's going to be your own personalized Down Payment Connect link that it's waiting for you. It's already created. There's nothing you need to do. You just go to that page and that's going to be your link. So instead of seeing FMLS staff agent, obviously that is a demo, you are going to see your name right there, how it is in your MLS. And I'm going to show you more about how that works in just a minute. I just want to show you more about this homepage and what you have access to. You're also going to have access to a host of marketing resources. That's going to include graphics, social media, images, customizable flyers, training videos, case studies, and a lot more. And when you click, you're going to get to a page that looks like this. And you'll be able to scroll down and access all that. And I'll hop over there and show you more about what that looks like shortly. We also have this superhero landing page that you can go to. You can even hop over there right now if you'd like. It's just downpaymentresource.com/superhero. And it is really a nice home base for everything. It's going to connect you to all the different resources we have. And let me just show you, I'm going to show you on my screen what that looks like. So this is that page. Forgive the scrolling. I just want to show you what you're going to get. So you'll see user guides and you can download these. These are going to give you just a quick, 1, 2, 3, how to set things up. This is going to go over to that marketing resources page. We do monthly live webinars. You're on one of our monthly live webinars right now. So we have those scheduled. You can join our private Facebook group, subscribe to our newsletter, check out our blog, and review different industry reports. And then let me just show you, this is the marketing resources page that you were looking at before. So you're going to have access to different graphics that can help you market this tool, social media images with some instructions, and a host of marketing flyers, videos, and a whole lot more. All right. And as I mentioned, we also have this private Facebook group. We have a huge group, over 5,000 agents and other types of real estate professionals that are joining us over there. It's a group that I moderate, and we'd love to have you join us over there. Essentially, it's for agents who are interested in working with first-time home buyers or better understanding down payment assistance in general. And you can pose questions there. You can help fellow agents out, share ideas. This is the group I typically share our new blog posts with first. I let them know about new trainings, if we'll be at events, different things like that. So that can be a great resource too, especially for brainstorming. And speaking of our Facebook group, I actually met both of these agents through our Facebook private group. So if you're here today, you might actually be able to relate to both of these agents. They are, each individually aiming to use their businesses to serve their own communities well. And in this case, Amber, she's out of the Orlando market. She herself was a young buyer and was looking to buy, and that's really her market. I mean, she's really helping show her friends, her peers, that they don't need 20% down. A lot of them were just self-selecting themselves out of the market. And then Raul's in the Austin, Texas market, and he's a veteran. And after going through kind of a crazy process to buy his own home and realizing, people don't know about a lot of these benefits, they don't know how these things work. He designed an education course and has really included education and focus on veterans as really a key part of his business mix. All right, so let me get into how the page works. So I am going to show you, let me hop over here. I'm going to show you what a home buyer would experience going to your page. So you just saw Amber out of the Orlando market. This is actually her page. She's a My Florida MLS member. So if a buyer were to hop over to her page, this is what she would do. So the buyer could come in here and say they want to buy in Orlando. Maybe they were aiming for a house that's about $250,000, single family home. Say there's 3 people in the family. They've never owned a home. Let's say income's about $65,000. And as you can see, these numbers are changing. So for example, say one member of the family is a veteran. That's going to up the programs. You see that just changed. You can also click for more opportunities here. So a buyer might, someone in the family might be a teacher, someone might be in law enforcement. You can see that added an additional program. Member of the U.S. military added one. So the more information and the more information that a buyer enters, the more precise their results are going to be to their individual situation. So then, say the buyer's completed the information they want, they click Get Details. Sorry, I had done this earlier. All right. All right, so once they click Get Details, they're going to go from the landing page to their eligibility page, entering that information. It's going to tell them how many programs they might be eligible for and up to how much in dollar amount that they might be eligible for in down payment help. In this case, it's about $10,000. So once the buyer enters their name here, their name and information, and clicks Program Details, they are going to get they're going to get a thank you, and they're entering that contact information. That contact information, that becomes your email lead. So the buyer will then see a thank you screen, And then the buyer is going to get a confirmation email. So it's going to thank them for coming to the page, let them know how many programs, how much in down payment help they may be eligible for. They're going to provide your contact information, and it basically gives them a list of programs and but not other details. So this really becomes your lead, and now's the time to follow up with them. Now, this is what you get. So you get a lot more details. You get information about the buyer, what they search for, and you get all the information about their results. But your results are more detailed. So your results, you can click on each of these links and get this type of detail for each program. So this is going to show you the maximum benefit amount, participating lenders, approved education providers. If there's something specific there, it can direct you to additional information about the program, including the flyer, the website, and the program provider's information. So you're going to have all of this information that you can also share with your buyer as you'd like. All right, so that's what you and the buyer will experience using your Down Payment Connect link. And now I'm going to get into some actual examples of how agents across the country are using Down Payment Connect in their business, where they're adding it on their website. Remember, this is a live link that you can add anywhere that you're online. That includes your email signature, your website, your blog, social media, anywhere. So I'm going to highlight various examples on here just to give you an idea of how that might work for you. So this realtor in Atlanta added a Down Payment Connect link on her buyer's page, which really is just some basic information about down payment programs. This was really easy to do for her, and it's a good way to generate new leads and have another option, another call to action for buyers on her website. And here you see Susan, she's also in Atlanta. She embedded her Down Payment Connect link on a buyer's page so she can drive traffic to her tool while making sure her visitors never leave her website. So you can see this is really iframed in to her site. So it's embedded right there on her site. And she has told us it's a great way for her to help firefighters, EMTs, and other first responders in her market. And you can see this realtor also embedded the Down Payment Connect form into a new buyer's page on her website, and she just has it sized a little bit differently. So you can really make it fit for your situation, for whatever platform that you on. All of our tools are mobile responsive, and they really adapt well to both the phone and tablet. And so again, a buyer can do a search right there in the form and start to learn what down payment assistance programs may be available to them. This agent also embedded the Down Payment Connect form, again, right into the site. I want you to look at where she has the navigation. So you can see up at the top here, she has Down Payment Assistance as one of the top navigation buttons. So it's anytime someone's coming to their site, they're seeing that first. They're seeing Down Payment Assistance as something highlighted on her page. And just a reminder, folks, as I'm going through these, feel free to submit your questions to Sean and Fern. They're in the background answering questions, and we'll take some additional ones live at the end, but feel free to hop over there and ask some questions. You can see on Brian's website, he added just some basic content again and used one of the graphics, added that link. And what he did is he put this up really close to the top, really sort of above the fold, if you will, in web design speak. So it's among one of the first things that buyers see when they come to his page. So I think it demonstrates that these are buyers that he's experienced working with. I also wanted to show you an example of how you could use a blog post about down payment assistance programs, and you can include your link in there. You can see with this one, the link is, they've hyperlinked just text here, and you don't have, you can link text, you can link images, they could have horizontal images throughout here. So you can experiment with what works best for your audience, but it can be just as simple as, especially if you have a blog, just linking over to Down Payment Connect as a resource to take the next step. And just a note on blogs, if you have a blog, you should just regularly include keywords about down payment help and homeownership programs, and also use your city's name. So when you start using that throughout your content, the name of your city, homeownership programs, down payment assistance programs, use it different ways. That's going to help folks find your content easier, and it's something that Google will be looking for. So if you are blogging regularly, consider adding a blog that speaks to down payment assistance programs, adding that into your rotation. This is one of our favorite examples. Richmond Regional Realty really took the education, and they just amped up the education on their page. So they created their own long form educational page about down payment assistance with several opportunities to click and go to their lead generation page. I'm actually going to show you this one. I'm going to show you this one live. So he actually created his own video. It's just a really short video that he embedded on this, but it showed buyers how to use the search tool and branded it with his information, and it's something that buyers can quickly watch and then understand what to do next. He also used a lot of our graphics throughout the content. So you can see it's an educational page. It's got hyperlinked text. It's got various opportunities for any website visitor to come and get information. Then he also has some background information on what are the criteria that we're looking at? How does it work? So he's engaging the reader and helping them learn a little bit more about how down payment assistance programs work, and then giving them multiple opportunities to click over to that lead generation page. So I really like the way they did this and how they branded it. And actually, Ronnie Burnham, who's the agent that is responsible for this page, he was actually featured in Inman News for his successful Facebook campaigns using this page. So in about a year and a half, he told us he'd gathered about 175 leads from his Down Payment Connect page, mostly through his Facebook ads. And those were like an average sales price of about $195,000. And what he does is adds all of his leads to a drip marketing campaign. So that'd just be, if you're not familiar with drip marketing campaigns, it just means you're sending content out to somebody over a period of time. So like say once a week, once they subscribe, and then he just touches base regularly so that he can be top of mind when they're considering homeownership. I'm going to show you another live example. This is Raul's site in Austin, Texas. And what he did is that he has content under a For Buyers page. The page is called For Buyers, and he designed really a guide for them with steps. And what we love here is that his first step, it actually links right over to his Down Payment Connect link. So his first step is finding down payment help. And we really like this because one of our goals at Down Payment Resource is for down payment assistance to be part of every first conversation a buyer has with their agent and lender, just like you would discussing getting pre-approved or pre-qualified. So ATX Realty really helps connect the dots for these buyers and has it laid out in the step format. I thought he did a nice job with that. All right, I'm going to show you a little bit more from our PowerPoint. Okay, so let's look a little more into social media. Again, this is Raul. He did a great social media campaign recently where he answered top 10 homebuyer questions, and he did that by video. And he answered one a week in a video format, posted it on his business Facebook page, and he used down payment assistance as one of the topics. And the call to action was for the buyers to go to his Down Payment Connect landing page to see what they might be eligible for. And as you probably know, Facebook and social media in general definitely rewards video content. And so this just really helped his engagement with his audience by answering it by video. So, and that's something you don't necessarily have to do video if you're not comfortable with that. This tactic you could certainly do by email. You could answer a buyer question in an email over a period of 1 or 2 months. So every week, they're getting an answer that you've written. You could do that in a blog format. So I thought that was a cool idea, and definitely a lot of topics for first-time homebuyers, down payment assistance being one of them. This is Minnesota-based, sorry, let me go to this one first. So this is Minnesota-based Barker Hedges Group, and they actually launched an entire Facebook page dedicated to serving first-time homebuyers. So on this page, they have multiple explainer videos answering questions about saving for a down payment and down payment assistance. And you can see, you see the name of it, it's just Minnesota First Time Homebuyer. So you can also consider, how you're naming either your Facebook page or your website. I mean, they have a website with the same name, but it's, instead of it being Barker Hedges Group, the name of the site is really dedicated to that target audience, which is an idea you could definitely consider. They also, on this Facebook page, highlight a few local program examples, and then everything is directed back over to their Minnesota First Time Homebuyer website page where buyers can search for programs. And if you have really good eyesight or your glasses on and can read the rest of the content on there, you can also see that they highlight a real homebuyer success story on their site. So this is just another tip that a lot of you may already be doing, but ask your buyers if you can mention the amount of down payment help that they used, their experience working with you or working with the program. Those are great things to highlight on social media and your blog and on your website. I always think, real examples from first-time homebuyers can help you connect better with this audience. It shows them that it's something that others are achieving and they can too, and that you are there to help them. And this is another, I just wanted to show you some of the videos on that, again, the same Minnesota First-Time Homebuyer page. And I really like the topic that they tackled recently, but it was how to find a lender that offers down payment assistance. And one of the things that we provide information on is a link to those participating lenders so that you're aware of what lenders participate in what programs. And in this video, they just highlight how they can help buyers navigate that and figure out which lender offers which program, and just help them understand what it means to be a participating lender. So explaining things like that you may be super familiar with, whenever you dig in and explain a little bit more like that to a home buyer, it can be really helpful. All right, I'm going to show you this one live as well. We just have a few more examples. I'm going to, just another reminder, hop over there and submit any questions if you do have questions for us. So this real estate broker in Seattle has a section on his site called Advice for Buyers, and it links to a special down payment assistance page. So it's sort of, it almost looks like a blog page, but you can see he's using some of our graphics overlaid with his own images. That's certainly something you can do, and he's got different opportunities to link over to that down payment connect page. Also, he embedded the page too, so you've got a couple of ways that buyers can search there. But I like the Advice for Buyers drop down and then down payment assistance. I think that works really well. And this one I think is really sharp looking. Again, used some of our images available. This is actually an image we designed for social media, but I think it works really well on his website too. So you can definitely use whatever works for you. And we're working on updating and adding additional images too. So definitely use that marketing resources page. And then the content here that he used, this is actually the text from our home buyer flyer. So he kind of merged a couple of different resources and really just made it his own to make it fit for his business here. So it tells them how it works, and then they can click here and they go right to his Down Payment Connect landing page. And then this is one of our newer examples, and one that I'm working on a case study with, but I love what Marilyn did here. She's an Indianapolis agent, and what she did is created a landing page. She actually set up this landing page, got a Wix website, set this up, and made it specifically for her Down Payment Connect page. So before the buyer gets to the page, they're invited to submit their name and email. And then when they click, it opens up to her Down Payment Connect page. The great thing about this is she's capturing 100% of the people who are going to her form. So what she's doing is using Facebook ads to drive her leads to this specific landing page. And I actually spoke with her last week, and she said this has really worked better for her than any other lead generation tool she's tried. She is familiar with working with first-time home buyers. She really likes this business, but this has just really amped up her ability to serve these buyers in a new way and make sure she has information so that she can follow up with them with more information. So I love the way that works. And I hope some of these marketing examples inspired you or gave you some ideas in terms of how you can use that in your own business. So I'm going to hop back over here and share a few final best practices from what I've learned. So really here in my role at Down Payment Resource, I speak with agents across the country regularly, and I learn how they're using our tools and how they're working with first-time home buyers. So I wanted to share a quick list of some great ways you can use Down Payment Resource to start more conversations with new buyers. So first, an email signature. This is really low-hanging fruit. You can add a graphic or just simply hyperlink text. And every time you send out an email, it's there. It's always front and center. In your sign off in your email, you can say, check out what might be available to you and use my page. So, that's just a really easy way to let buyers or any of your contacts really know that you have information to share with them about this. Also, when you run an open house, follow up with attendees and raise the topic of down payment assistance. So if you meet folks at open house, follow up, send in the link, even just in a simple email. It doesn't have to be a formal campaign, but just invite them to see what they might qualify for. A lot of agents are not telling home buyers about this, and it will really help you stand out. Also, if one of your listings is eligible, you want to market that listing with program information. So what you could do is you could highlight the programs, just give a summary, or you could even highlight assistance amount available, up to $12,000 might be available for this property. See if you're available, things like that. So this isn't just for buyer's agents. You can also use this to market a listing. You can also print out program information and have it available at open houses. That's another idea we've heard. We talked about Facebook ads. They can be very targeted, and they can also give you a lot of great results. And so we do see agents using Facebook ads to drive to their link a lot. So I showed you a couple of examples about that. It can also help you test interest in content, see what your engagement is on Facebook when you're posting about down payment assistance program. Is this a topic that your readers or your audience is interested in? Instagram is a one that we didn't get into today, but we are seeing more interest in use in there. So on your Instagram post, you can direct buyers to click the link in your profile. So you do have one link on Instagram that you can add in your profile. So that's something that you could do. You could rotate that out from time to time, maybe do a special post that says click the link in my profile. And you could do that maybe once a month, something like that. Additionally, you can use a tool like Linktree. I think there's a couple other tools designed for Instagram. It's essentially lets you create one master link that you can add to your Instagram profile and then add multiple direct links. So essentially a buyer could click on that and it could invite them to go directly to your website to search for properties or to search for down payment assistance programs. So that's something that you can consider. Of course, if you are a power Instagram user and you have more than 10,000 followers, you do have access to the swipe up feature in Instagram stories, and you can obviously link directly there. And anyway, if you are using it on Instagram, or if that's something you end up doing, I'd love to talk with you. Just let me know how that is working for you. Educational content, we saw several examples of that. Buyers are doing more research in advance, even though they will most likely use an agent at the end of the day. So again, use those keywords in your content development. Those keywords would be down payment assistance, home buyer assistant, using your city name. For example, a buyer might search for down payment assistance in Austin. Make sure your content has that information so that they'll find you when they're searching for that. You can also add a home buyer section on your site. So we saw ones that say for buyers or for first-time home buyers, or first-time home buyers start here. So use something that really speaks to that audience. Explainer videos or videos in general. Those can really add a lot of value. They're great for social media, but they can also be uploaded to YouTube, put on your website. You can do live videos that are then retained on your site, and those can really help get people who are already following you, actually help them see your content, because again, Facebook's going to reward those videos, and it's going to help you get seen more if you experiment with using that. And of course, there's so many ways to record and edit easily today, so it's definitely something to try and experiment with. And also drip marketing campaigns. So don't forget to reach back out to your target audience through ongoing marketing campaigns. So maybe it's once a week or once a month that you've designed to touch base with them. Again, some of these buyers may not be ready, but by sending valuable information, connecting them to other home buyer education or resources that can help, you can be top of mind when they're ready. And also remember, some buyers may not qualify. They might make too much money. It might not be a fit for them, but the fact that you've brought this up and that you've made them aware of this information, we hear time and time again that agents are glad that they started that conversation about the availability of down payment assistance. So finally, I also just want to share, leverage the experts that are available to you. Remember, you don't have to be the expert in down payment assistance. And I know that you don't want to be the expert in down payment assistance for the most part. So definitely lean on your housing finance agencies, program providers, and lenders, and partner with them. They are the experts in this, and they are really going to help you and your buyers. So here are a few other tips on how you can leverage those experts. So first, find participating lenders for each program. You're going to find that in the program details section on in down payment resource. When you click on a specific program and you see the program details, one of those is going to say find participating lenders. Develop partnerships with more of these participating lenders and ask the lenders you currently partner with what programs they work with. So just having that information, that's a great place to start. Just go to your current lender partners, find out what programs they work with, and make a note of that so that you know who to refer them to. You can also connect with your state and local HFAs, nonprofits, and employers to find out what resources they might offer for agents and what other classes they may offer. You can also highlight actual information about local programs. So this is just a good content idea. It might seem overwhelming when I tell you we track 2,500 different programs. You don't have to highlight every one of them. Get to know a couple in your market, or maybe one that a buyer used recently. Get to understand how that program works, and just use it as an example when you're highlighting these opportunities to your audience. And even better, if you have a case study from one of your buyers, highlight how that worked for them. Those are great options. You can also take a first-time homebuyer class to get other content ideas for first-time homebuyers. So see what they're learning, see what they're interested in, see what questions are asked. Maybe that's how you start your social media campaign, with questions from first-time homebuyers. Just attending one of these classes as a buyer might help reinvigorate how you would want to share information and communicate with a prospective buyer. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging in today. We had a huge audience, and here's our information if you do have questions, and also a link to our reports. So I am going to stop the recording in just a minute so we can open up for live questions. Thank you guys so much for joining us.